Hey everyone. We spend a lot of time talking about growing your Bitcoin stack, but have you ever thought about what happens to it when you're, well, gone? Not exactly a fun topic to think about, but it's important.
It really is, and especially with something as unique as Bitcoin inheritance,
Mhm.
it really challenges traditional methods like wills and stuff like that.
Right, yeah, wills and all that.
It's digital, it needs a digital solution,
Yeah,
one that can, stand the test of time.
for sure, for sure. Okay, so instead of like those dusty old safe deposit boxes, we're talking like a digital fortress.
Exactly.
Right. But I guess before we get into the specifics, why why is inheritance such a big deal for Bitcoin holders?
Well, imagine this. You've spent years accumulating Bitcoin,
Hmm.
right? Carefully securing it, watching it grow, but without a proper plan, it could
Yeah.
all just vanish.
Oh, wow.
Your loved ones, they might not even know how to access it, let alone manage it.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
It's like a treasure map without the X.
Right, exactly. Okay, so it sounds like we need more than just we need a system specifically designed for Bitcoin, and that's where Keeper Wallet comes in, right?
That's exactly right. Keeper offers a range of tools, but one of the key features is multi-sig wallets
Multi-sig.
or multi-signature wallets. Yeah,
Yeah.
think of it like a safe with multiple locks, each requiring a different key to open.
Okay, the multiple locks analogy, I get that, but
Yeah,
how does that translate to Bitcoin?
so in a multi-sig wallet, you have multiple keys, and you need a specific number of those keys to authorize any transaction.
Okay.
For example, with a 2 of 3 setup, you would need 2 out of 3 keys to move any Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. So even if someone gets one, they can't run off with my Bitcoin.
Exactly. It prevents a single point of failure.
Gotcha.
Plus, it can be used to create a pretty robust inheritance plan.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, so tell me more about how Keeper tackles this whole inheritance puzzle.
So they offer various plans, but the one that stands out for inheritance is their Diamond Hands plan.
Diamond hands. Okay. Sounds serious. What makes it so special?
It includes a feature called the Assisted Inheritance Key, and this allows you to designate a trusted individual, like a family member or a lawyer,
Okay.
who can help your beneficiaries access your Bitcoin if you're unable to.
Okay, so that makes sense, but what's to stop that person from just taking it?
Well, that's where the multi-sig comes in. Remember, they only hold one key.
Right.
They can't access the funds without the other keys.
Oh, so it's like a checks and balances thing built right in.
Exactly. And that's just one part of the Diamond Hands plan. It offers a really comprehensive approach to Bitcoin inheritance, combining security, accessibility, and, just peace of mind.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. So let's say I'm ready to dive in. What's the first step?
You download the Keeper app,
Okay,
available on iOS and Android.
got it.
It's designed to be user-friendly, even for those who aren't very tech-savvy.
Well, that's good. I think I understand Bitcoin basics, but this whole multi-sig inheritance thing sounds a little daunting.
It might seem that way at first,
Yeah.
but Keeper does a really good job of guiding you through the process. Plus, they offer excellent support if you get stuck.
Okay.
Think of it like assembling a piece of furniture.
Mm.
The instructions might seem complicated, but once you get started, it all falls into place.
All right, I can handle that. So walk me through it. What happens after I download the app?
So the first thing you'll do is create a secure password for the app itself.
Okay.
Then you'll be guided through the process of setting up your multi-sig vault, specifically for inheritance purposes.
Okay, so this is where we get into the nitty-gritty of creating this digital fortress for my Bitcoin.
Yes, exactly. And the process might seem complex, but Keeper breaks it down into these manageable steps.
Okay.
The app will guide you through creating what we call a 2 of 3 multi-sig vault.
Okay.
This means you'll generate 3 keys, one on your phone, one on another device, and the assisted inheritance key held by your chosen individual.
Got it. So 2 out of 3 keys are needed to access the vault,
Exactly.
ensuring that no single person has complete control.
Right. And this is where the beauty of multi-sig shines. It balances security with accessibility, making it ideal for inheritance planning.
Okay, so we got our keys sorted out, but I have a question about the security of these keys themselves. How does Keeper ensure they're protected? After all, we're talking about my precious Bitcoin here.
That's a great question, and one that Keeper takes very, very seriously. This brings us to an incredibly important step, backing up your recovery phrase.
Right.
Those 12 words that feel like the key to the universe?
I've heard about these. They seem pretty important.
This phrase is essentially the master key to your Bitcoin if you lose access to your phone or other devices. This phrase can be used to restore your keys and access your Bitcoin.
Got it.
But that also means you need to keep it incredibly secure.
Yeah. Okay, so no writing it down on a sticky note and slapping it on my monitor.
Exactly. Never store your recovery phrase digitally. Ideally, write it down on multiple pieces of paper and store them in separate secure locations. Think bank safe deposit box, fireproof safe, or even engraved on metal and buried in your backyard.
Sounds like a spy movie.
It does. But the more secure, the better. This is your Bitcoin legacy we're talking about.
For sure. So we've got our multi-sig vault, our keys are generated, and our recovery phrase stashed away like buried treasure. What else do we need to know about securing this inheritance vault?
Well, this is where things get even more interesting. Remember those tap signers I mentioned
Oh,
earlier?
yeah.
Think of them like physical vaults for your digital keys.
Okay, now we're talking next level security here. What exactly are those and how do they work?
They're hardware wallets, small devices that look kind of like USB drive.
Okay.
They store your keys offline, completely isolated from the internet, which makes them incredibly secure.
So it's like an extra layer of protection, a
Exactly.
physical barrier.
Exactly. And what's cool about tap signers is that they use NFC technology.
Okay.
You know, you can tap your phone to pay for things.
Right.
Same concept.
Oh, so instead of typing in passwords or dealing with complicated interfaces, I just tap my phone to this tap signer.
You got it. It's super convenient and incredibly secure.
Wow, and it feels futuristic.
It does, right?
So with these tap signers, my keys are tucked away offline, safe and sound. But what about the vault itself? How do I know that it's secure and that no one's trying to, like, tamper with it?
That's where Keeper's Canary Wallet feature comes in.
Mm.
Think of it as a digital watchdog.
Oh, okay.
Always on guard, ready to alert you if anything suspicious is happening.
So does it bark if someone tries to break in?
What? Maybe not literally,
Okay.
but it does send you an immediate notification if there's any unauthorized attempt to access your vault.
So like a built-in alarm system for my Bitcoin.
Exactly. Gives you that extra peace of mind knowing that you'll be alerted instantly if anything fishy is going on.
This is starting to sound like Fort Knox for Bitcoin.
It is.
We got multi-sig vaults, tap signers, a digital watchdog. This is impressive.
Yep.
But with all these layers of security, it also sounds like it could be overwhelming to manage.
That's understandable. Security is important, but it shouldn't be a burden. That's why Keeper has built-in tools to help you stay on top of things.
Okay, what kind of tools are we talking about?
Well, there's a handy health check feature right in the app.
Okay, like a routine checkup for my vault.
Exactly.
Does it involve blood tests and awkward questions?
No, it's much simpler. The health check prompts you to confirm that you still have access to your keys and your recovery phrase.
Oh, okay.
It's a quick and easy way to make sure everything is in order.
So it's like a little reminder system to make sure I haven't forgotten where I put everything.
Precisely a gentle nudge to stay vigilant and proactive about your Bitcoin security.
Okay, I can appreciate that it's reassuring to know that Keeper isn't just throwing all these security features at me and then leaving me to fend for myself.
Exactly. They understand that security is an ongoing process, and they've built tools to support you every step of the way.
Well, so far I'm impressed. It sounds like Keeper has thought of everything when it comes to securing Bitcoin for inheritance, but is it just about inheritance or are there other things I can do with Keeper Wallet?
There's a whole lot more to explore.
Okay.
Keeper is a comprehensive platform for managing your Bitcoin. They have features for assisted multi-sig, which can be useful for businesses or shared finances. And they even have a desktop app for those who prefer a larger screen.
Wow, so it's not a one-trick pony.
No, not at all.
It sounds like a versatile tool for anyone serious about taking control of their Bitcoin.
Absolutely. And one of the core principles behind Keeper is user control your keys, your Bitcoin. They don't hold any of your information. You're in complete control.
That's a big one for me. I've always been a little wary of those platforms that act as custodians of your crypto.
Right.
I like the idea of being my own bank, so to speak.
You and many others. That's why Keeper's approach resonates with so many in the Bitcoin community. It aligns with that ethos of decentralization and self-sovereignty.
I love that it feels like it's bringing the power back to the individual.
It does.
But before we go too deep into the philosophical side of Bitcoin, let's circle back to this Diamond Hands plan.
Sure.
We've talked about its technical features, but I'm curious about the overall benefits.
Well, beyond the technical aspects, the Diamond Hands plan offers something incredibly valuable. Peace of mind.
Okay. I can see how knowing that my Bitcoin is secure and accessible to my loved ones, even if I'm gone, would definitely bring a sense of peace. But what does that peace of mind look like?
Imagine this. You've taken the time to set up your Bitcoin inheritance plan with Keeper. You've got your multi-sig vault, your keys are securely stored, and you've chosen a trusted individual to hold your assisted inheritance key. You've even practiced the recovery process with your beneficiaries so they know exactly what to do.
Okay, I'm starting to get a clearer picture. It's not just about setting it and forgetting it. It's about actively involving my loved ones in the process, making sure they understand how it all works.
Exactly. And that knowledge and preparation is where the true peace of mind comes from. You've taken the steps to ensure that your Bitcoin legacy is secure, and you've empowered your loved ones to access it when the time comes.
That's a powerful feeling knowing that you've taken care of things and that your loved ones won't be burdened with trying to figure it all out on their own.
Absolutely. It's about leaving a legacy that's not just financial, but also one of knowledge and empowerment.
This is all incredibly insightful, but is the Diamond Hands plan just a set it and forget it kind of thing, or is there ongoing support?
That's another great thing about the Diamond Hands plan. It includes concierge support, which means you have access to real-time chat and even video calls with keeper experts
Oh, wow.
who can answer any questions you have.
So it's like having a personal Bitcoin advisor on call.
Precisely, they can guide you through every step of the process, from setting up your vault to educating your beneficiaries.
Wow, that's impressive. It sounds like they've really thought of everything to make this process as smooth and stress-free as possible. But before we dive even deeper into the world of Keeper Wallet, I think it's time to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll explore the broader implications of Bitcoin inheritance and why it's such an important conversation to be having. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We've been exploring the nuts and bolts of securing your Bitcoin legacy with Keeper Wallet. But let's take a step back and think big picture here. What is the significance of Bitcoin inheritance? Why should this be on everybody's radar?
It's a fascinating question, and it's one that goes beyond just the technical aspects.
Yeah.
We have to consider what Bitcoin represents.
Right. Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not just another asset. It's like a paradigm shift.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for you. What makes it different from, say, stocks or real estate when we're talking about inheritance?
Think about it. Bitcoin is decentralized. It's borderless. It's resistant to censorship. It's a fundamentally different kind of asset.
One that holds the potential to reshape the entire financial landscape.
So it's not just about passing on wealth. It's about passing on like a piece of this revolution.
Exactly. Your Bitcoin inheritance, it could be a gateway for your beneficiaries to participate in this new system. Give them access to tools and opportunities that might not have existed otherwise.
That's a pretty powerful way to think about it. It's like passing on a key to a whole new world, not just, a pile of money.
Right. And that's why it's so important to approach Bitcoin inheritance, thoughtfully.
Yeah.
It's not just about protecting the financial value. It's about ensuring that the underlying principles of Bitcoin are understood and carried forward.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
But let's be real for a second. Most people aren't thinking about their Bitcoin as like a philosophical torch to be passed down, through generations. They're thinking about its financial value and how to protect that for their loved ones.
That's true, and that's understandable. The financial aspect is certainly crucial. Bitcoin has the potential to appreciate significantly over time, which means your inheritance could have a substantial impact on your beneficiaries' lives.
It could be life-changing if Bitcoin keeps going the way it's going.
Exactly. And that's why having a solid inheritance plan is so important. It's about making sure that your hard-earned Bitcoin benefits your loved ones, as you intended, providing them with financial security and opportunities.
So we've talked about the technical side of things with Keeper Wallet and the Diamond Hands plan, and we've, touched on these bigger philosophical implications. But what about the practical steps of creating a plan? Where do people even begin?
The first step is acknowledging that this is something you need to address.
Yeah.
You can't put it off till later.
Right, because none of us know what tomorrow holds.
Exactly. And once you made that decision, it's time to gather information and explore the different options that are out there.
Okay.
There are various approaches to Bitcoin inheritance. Keepers is just one tool.
Okay, so Keeper might not be right for everybody.
Exactly.
What are some other options?
Well, there are other multi-sig wallets available, each with their own strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
And then there are more traditional approaches, like creating a really detailed document
Okay.
with instructions on how to access your Bitcoin, or even setting up a trust.
So it's about doing your research and finding what aligns with your individual needs and risk tolerance.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to Bitcoin inheritance.
Right.
It's about finding the right balance between security, accessibility, and your own personal preferences.
Yeah, that's really helpful advice. But this whole process can feel kind of overwhelming,
Sure.
especially for those who are new to Bitcoin or, inheritance planning in general.
It can be, definitely. That's why it's so important to seek guidance from knowledgeable sources.
Ah.
Talk to experts in the field. Consult with estate planning attorneys who understand Bitcoin, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, reach out for help. But What about the emotional side of this? I mean, talking about death and inheritance can be tough,
Oh, absolutely.
especially when it comes to something as personal as Bitcoin.
You're right. These conversations can be challenging, but they're also incredibly important.
Yeah.
It's about having those open and honest discussions with your loved ones about your wishes and making sure that they're prepared
Right.
to handle your Bitcoin responsibly.
So it's not just about the technical setup, it's about communication and, everybody being on the same page.
Precisely. It's about bringing your loved ones into the loop
Yeah.
and making sure they feel comfortable and confident.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's about empowerment, not just, leaving them with a puzzle to solve. But I gotta ask, what are some common mistakes that people make when it comes to Bitcoin inheritance? What pitfalls should they avoid?
One of the biggest mistakes is simply not having a plan at all.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people assume that their loved ones will just figure it out,
Right.
but that's a risky gamble.
Yeah, it's like that treasure map with no clues.
Exactly. And
Huh.
then there are those who rely on simple passwords or notes,
Right.
which can be easily lost or compromised.
So security's super important.
Absolutely. And then there's the issue of not keeping your plan up to date.
Oh, great.
Circumstances change, new technologies emerge. It's crucial to adapt your plan.
So it's not a set it and forget it type of thing. It's
No.
an ongoing process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Regularly review your plan, update it as needed, and, communicate those changes.
Okay, so stay informed, adapt, and communicate. Got it.
Hmm.
But for those who are still hesitant to even start thinking about Bitcoin inheritance, what would you say to them?
I'd say that the longer you wait, the greater the risk. The world of Bitcoin is constantly evolving,
Right.
and it's crucial to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
The tools are there. The resources are available.
Yeah.
There's a growing community of experts ready to help you.
So don't be intimidated. Take that first step. Ask for help and start building your Bitcoin legacy today. But before we wrap up this fascinating conversation, I want to, bring it back to the listener. We've talked a lot about, the how-to and the technical stuff, but I want to leave you with a question to ponder beyond the financial value. What does your Bitcoin represent to you? What message do you want to convey with your Bitcoin inheritance?
That's a profound question, and it's one that deserves, careful consideration. Your Bitcoin can be more than just an asset.
Right.
It can be a reflection of your values, your beliefs, your vision for the future.
It's like weaving your own story into this Bitcoin network.
It is.
It's about leaving a legacy that's not just financial, but one of meaning and purpose. But unfortunately, we are out of time for today. Join us for the final part of this deep dive, where we'll explore the future of Bitcoin inheritance and offer some parting thoughts on how to secure your digital legacy for generations to come.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Bitcoin inheritance. We've talked about a lot, multi-sig wallets, the philosophy of Bitcoin. But before we wrap up, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the future of Bitcoin inheritance? Like, what trends are you seeing?
It's an exciting time to be thinking about digital inheritance. As Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies gain more adoption,
Right.
we're going to see a growing need for tools and services that make inheritance, seamless and secure.
For sure.
I think we'll see a lot more innovation around multi-sig solutions, more user-friendly interfaces, and maybe even the integration of smart contracts.
Oh, smart contracts. That
Yeah.
sounds pretty interesting. How would those play a role in Bitcoin inheritance?
So imagine setting up a smart contract that automatically distributes your Bitcoin to your beneficiaries.
Based on predefined conditions, could be based on a specific date, reaching a certain age, or even completing a certain task.
Wow.
This would add another layer of control and automation to the whole process.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. It feels like we're just getting started with Bitcoin inheritance.
We are.
Constantly evolving. But for our listeners who are ready to take action today, what final words of advice would you give them?
I would say the most important step is to start. Don't let the complexity overwhelm you.
Yeah.
Begin by educating yourself, explore different solutions like Keeper Wallet,
Right.
and have those open conversations with your loved ones about your wishes. Remember, this is about securing your legacy and empowering those you care about.
For sure.
It's a journey worth taking.
Absolutely well said. It's about taking control of your Bitcoin future and ensuring that it reflects your values and intentions. It's been a great conversation, really insightful. I think our listeners have learned a lot today.
I agree. It's always good to talk about these important topics and help people navigate this new world of digital assets.
And for our listeners out there, remember, you're not alone. There's a huge community of Bitcoin enthusiasts, experts, and resources to help guide you. Don't hesitate to reach out, ask questions, and take those first steps towards securing your digital legacy.
Couldn't agree more. The future of Bitcoin is bright.
Yeah.
And by taking these steps today, you can ensure that your Bitcoin legacy will last for generations to come.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Bitcoin inheritance. We hope you found it informative, empowering, and we'll see you next time.